Welcome to the Subpar Podcast. What's up, guys? If anyone's new here, my name is Drew Fortson. I have a YouTube channel, Drew Fortson Golf. I've decided to start a YouTube channel. Good start to the podcast here. I've decided to start a podcast. The reason I've decided to start a podcast is simply because my love for golf. I love watching golf. I love playing golf. I like talking about golf. As you've probably seen, anybody that's watched my YouTube videos, my course vlogs, I talk a lot. So I thought, hey, why not talk a lot more about golf on a podcast? Just a different way to create content and be around the game that I love, which is golf. So welcome. Welcome to the Subpar Podcast. Kind of the way I came up with that name, I just thought it was really cool. You know, kind of a double entendre, if you will. Subpar meaning below average quality, or subpar could be a good thing in the game of golf. So, if you're under par, you're playing some good golf. So that's how we came up with the Subpar Podcast. This is episode 1 of the Subpar Podcast. Super excited for the journey. This is going to be a video style podcast. I will be putting out audio versions on, whatever platform you listen to podcasts on, Spotify, Apple Podcast. The main video version will be on my YouTube channel, Drew Fortson Golf. So if you want to watch the video version, if you're watching it there, thank you for watching. And that's where you'll be able to find these podcasts going forward. They'll live on my Drew Fortson Golf YouTube channel. Again, my name's Drew. My name is Drew Fortson. I am from Greenwood, Arkansas, originally from Pleasant Plains, Arkansas, small town south of Batesville. Grew up a baseball player. When that college baseball career ended, turned golf addict. So I'm 29 years old right now. Been heavy into golf pretty much since after college, but the last 3 years really being involved in wanting to play a lot more golf and get better. So my addiction has just grown and grown. So hence doing a golf podcast right now. So kind of what this podcast is going to be about, just to kind of like a brief summary of kind of what I'm visioning for the podcast. And this might change over time. Hopefully it can grow and we can do all kinds of cool things with this podcast, but kind of for now, it's just me. I'm going to talk about pretty much all things golf. Anything golf related could come up on this podcast. Talk about PGA Tour results, from the week prior's tournaments, things like that, updates that are going on the PGA Tour in the professional ranks, the LIV Golf drama, things like that. Also talk probably about YouTube golf, the YouTube space. I'm an active member of the YouTube golf space, trying to grow a YouTube channel myself, and that's a whole different beast in itself. But seeing some of the best or the biggest YouTube golfers, and probably talk to some about those guys as well, and pretty much anything golf related. If there's some things you guys would like to hear more about in the golf space that you don't think is talked about enough on podcasts or anywhere else, leave those in the comments below. We'd love to hear them, and would love any feedback, on the podcast. Obviously, this is the episode 1, so, we'll see what happens with it, but would love any feedback you guys could present. And before we get too much further in today's episode, I would like to thank today's show sponsor, Pinned Golf. They have the most accurate rangefinders on the market. They have really cool color options. I have the Masters Green Edition. It's super cool. The colors, they have like baby blue, red, pretty much any color of the rainbow. It's on there. You can get one at pinnedgolf.com. Use code Drew Fortson Golf, and you'll save 15% off your order. That will also go and help me and help the channel. So code Drew Fortson Golf will save you 15% off your rangefinder order at pinnedgolf.com. Okay, we're doing a podcast. This is awesome. Forgive me if I'm nervous on this podcast. It's just me talking to a camera. But here we go. Kind of my show notes here, and we'll talk about some stuff. Yesterday, Scottie Scheffler, he won the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill by 6 shots. Yeah, you heard that correctly. If you didn't watch it, you missed out on just a ball striker just doing unbelievable things. The dude has been ball striking courses to death for the past year and only won one time in the last 51 weeks. He finally broke that streak and won again. I think that was his first win since the Players last year, which he'll be defending his championship next week at TPC Sawgrass. Wish I could go to that. That would be amazing. But the performance that Scottie Scheffler put on yesterday. I mean, it was Tiger-esque. That's just the truth. I mean, the dude ran away from a field and that's Bay Hill's known, Arnold's Place is known as a very tough course. Like it kind of, especially on a Sunday when things get harder and firmer, typically it's tough to shoot around par. I think the scoring average they were saying on TV was like 1.5 over par or something like that. And the dude went out and shot like a bogey-free 6 under, I think, which is, I mean, in the final round, and just absolutely ran away, lapped the field. Literally, Rory McIlroy was like, it's pretty unbelievable, dude. Literally almost lapped the field. So it's unbelievable what Scottie's done. I mean, the tournament was unreal. The dude, his ball striking is elite. There's no one even close in any stat on ball striking. His wedge shots yesterday were unreal. I mean, his shots, it didn't matter if he was 50 yards or 120 yards. With the wedge, dude, he was spinning them all around the hole. The dude is unbelievable. And, I mean, we have to talk about the putter. The guy has been so bad with the putter for the last year. It's literally the only thing that everyone has talked about for the past year has been his inability to putt. Like, if he was just somewhat decent at putting, he would have won so many tournaments over the last year. His putting has just been awful, but he putted fantastic yesterday with his new TaylorMade Spider Tour putter. He's made the switch from his traditional Scottie Cameron blade putter that he's had forever, and it paid off big time, which is hilarious because Rory McIlroy was like, would love to see Scottie switch to a mallet putter. Rory thought that would help him, and he does it and wins the tournament. So Rory might regret saying that. But dude, if the reality is, if the guy can putt like he did this week, I don't think he will lose. I mean, he has the ability to have like a Tiger Woods run. I mean, really, dude has made top 10. I think it was 22 of the last 29 starts. He has finished top 10. That is unbelievable. I mean, that's absolutely unbelievable. The guy's unreal. He has the potential to be a Tiger Woods. I mean, that's one of the questions here. Is this guy Tiger Woods? Is he the next Tiger Woods? I mean, he has the ability to win any major coming up this year. So that's another question for you guys. Do you think that Scottie Scheffler wins a major championship this year, 2024? I think he absolutely does. I'm actually going to say he probably wins 2 of them. I mean, that's a bold statement. And obviously coming off of his win yesterday and watching him dominate, it makes it easier to say that. But I just don't, if this guy's putter stays even relevant like it was, the dude can lap fields. We just saw that. So, I mean, I'm predicting he wins for sure 1, possibly 2 majors in 2024. Would love to hear. I'm going to set the over-under for this at 1. 1 major championship for Scottie Scheffler, 2024. Are you taking the over or are you taking the under on that? Let me know. Also, just to end the Scottie Scheffler talk, congrats to he and his wife, Meredith, who are expecting their first child in late April, probably right after he wins the Masters. Okay, next topic of discussion here. Kind of talk about how I feel on the LIV versus the PGA drama. I'm sure this is something I'll probably talk about often as far as as the story continues to unfold here on the LIV PGA merger, which is just blew everyone's minds last year. And honestly, here's exactly how I feel about the whole situation. I mean, I'm all for capitalism. I'm all for guys making money. And, if you're the best in the world at what you do, you deserve to make money. I mean, that's just the way it is. But, I mean, there's just the only problem I have with everything is the division of the top players in the world. You're taking some of the top guys going and over here, some of the top guys staying over here. And that is just literally the worst thing that can happen to the game of golf, is for all of the top players not to be in the same fields, competing in the same tournaments. That's literally the worst thing that can happen for the game of golf. I mean, the players are saying it, and as a viewer, like as an avid watcher of the PGA Tour, it's really bad every time someone a big name comes up that says on the screen they're going to LIV Tour. I mean, I remember watching Cam Smith run away or have an unbelievable final round at the Open Championship, and I was so fired up. I was like, dude, I love this guy. Was excited to watch him play a lot of PGA Tour events, and then literally after, in his press conference after the win, he gets asked about LIV Golf, and I'm just like shattered. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this actually going to happen? It's like a week later, he says no during the press conference, and like a week later, there he goes, his name, he's going to LIV. So that was brutal. And then you got Brooks that leaves. DJ was obviously one of the first ones to leave, and then former last year's Masters champion decides to leave. Jon Rahm. Shout out Jon Rahm, actually. This is hilarious. Me and Jon Rahm share the exact same birthday, November 10th, 1994. So one of us is winning major championships, and one of us is hosting a Subpar podcast. So shout out Jon Rahm, man. Shout out Jon Rahm. Unbelievable player, but he obviously defected to LIV. But so kind of where I'm at on the whole thing, I think it stinks, man, that all the best players aren't playing in these big tournaments. Like at Bay Hill yesterday, it was still a really, really good leaderboard, a great leaderboard, and those guys might not have even been in the top 10. Like they may not have been chasing Scottie down, but you can't help but think that though some of those guys, a Brooks, a Rahm, a DJ, Cam Smith, Joaquin Neiman, all those guys, you can't help but think that one of those guys could have potentially had a chance to scare Scottie in that final round. It's not to say that was going to happen or would be the reality, but it almost, by them not being there, almost waters down the wins on the PGA Tour side, and that's a problem. That's a big problem, because you even see it on like Facebook discussion groups, things like that. People are like, "Oh, Scottie won, but he didn't play against the best field. It wasn't the best field," and that's a problem. I mean, that is a problem going forward. I really just want all the best players together. I mean, the best players in the world need to play the same tour. They need to play the same tournaments. It's the best viewing experience when you get the best of the best going at it. I mean, that's what everybody wants to watch. That's why the major championships are so good and so fun to watch. There's literally nothing better than watching the Masters. I mean, what's better than that? There's nothing better than that. And it's because of the tradition and the best of the best going at it. I mean, it's huge. Like that's the one thing. Another thing I don't really like about LIV, obviously it's new, it's a new idea, so they don't have tradition. And I don't like that it's taking a lot of the tradition and hurting it, I mean, but the thing is, I'm kind of torn because I'm all for competition, you know what I mean? Like the PGA Tour being monopoly, like I'm all for, the LIV coming on and like pushing the PGA Tour. I just hate that it's dividing the PGA Tour, if that makes sense. Like I think LIV has elevated the PGA Tour. Like it's gonna elevate the product because it's gonna force the PGA Tour to make the viewing experience as good as possible, and it's obviously getting players paid more for tournaments, things like that. So competition always makes everything better in any business. They have to elevate their game to outshine the competition. So that's one thing that's good about LIV, but it has kind of hurt the tradition in a lot of these PGA tournaments, on the PGA Tour. So to sum it all up, I'm not against LIV. I'm against all the best players not playing in the bigger tournaments all together. Like that really stinks. I mean, it hurts. Like I would say the top 10 events on the PGA Tour schedule, I want all the guys, all of them. I want all the top 50, 75 guys, playing against each other. That's what everyone wants to see. So that's where I stand on LIV and versus the PGA. So we'll see what all unfolds with that. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I haven't seen, and I haven't done any research really lately, but I haven't heard anything on the, what's going to happen with the merger. Like it just like the bomb dropped of PGA Tour and LIV are merging, and I may be missing something. I may just not know, but I don't know what that means. It still seems like they're both doing their own thing. So I don't know how they're merged. I'm pretty sure I saw that LIV golfers are still not getting official world golf ranking points because it's 54 hole events, not 72 hole events. They play 3 days and no cuts. So not getting official world golf ranking points. These guys are going to fall out of the top 100 or whatever, I guess it is, and not make these major championships. Like I think Joaquin Niemann just got like an exemption to get in one, and that was just like a, granted an exemption to get in. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen there. How these guys, if they all start falling out of the top 100 due to world ranking points, I'm sure there's going to be some drama, with that. So like I said, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the merger, and hopefully, I just hope the end result is better for the game of golf and not worse. That's what I hope. So that's pretty much it for that, the LIV versus PGA drama. But now kind of just a little bit about the next show note I have here is just personal to me and my golf addiction. But part of it is I have a putter addiction. Anybody else out there have a putter addiction? Tell me I'm not alone here in this, because literally, let me tell you guys this. I have a note here. In the last 2 years, here are all the putters that I've had. I had a Scottie Cameron Newport 2.5. I then picked up a LIV Golf Mez 1 with a steel shaft, just standard Mez. I then went to a Scottie Cameron Phantom X 5.5. Then decided to go back to the blade, went to Scottie Cameron Newport 2, just a classic blade, Scottie Cameron putter. Then literally like a month later, switched back to the LIV Mez 1, but with an upgraded LA Golf shaft. So that's 5 putters. Then I switched to Odyssey Rossi S with a Stroke Labs shaft in it. So the Odyssey Rossi S was the 6 putter. Then I got a Lab Max Mez Max broomstick that I rolled for a week, and one time on the course had 37 putts. I had 37 putts my first round with the broomstick, and it was sold on Facebook Marketplace the next day. Probably didn't give it enough time to actually, learn what I was doing. It's probably not the putter, but the putter, me. But the broomstick just was not for me at all. So what's that? That's 7 putters in 2 years. Oh, yeah. And I just ordered the Lab DF3. So I still have the Odyssey Rossi S and have the Lab DF3 incoming to me. So excited to see that putter, test that putter. I'm just a tinker with the putter. I mean, don't take any putting advice from me, honestly. Like, I haven't stuck with anything. But the Odyssey Rossi S is definitely my go-to gamer right now. The Lab DF3 is going to be like a project for me. I kind of messed up with the first Mez 1 and didn't go heavy on the head. So since those putters are like untorqued or whatever, no torque, there's literally face balance, lie angle balanced is what they are. Lab Golf lie angle balance, what that means. They don't have torque, so there's no toe hang on the putters. Those things feel so light. So when I bought the standard weight in the Mez 1 originally, it just felt so light to me. I struggled with lag putting tremendously. I even made a video on that on my Drew Fortson Golf channel. So I'm trying to learn from my mistakes there, and I bought the DF3 in the heavy version. And really the reason I bought the DF3 is because the comments and stuff on Facebook and feedback are people just like raving about it, man. I mean, everybody's just like, dude, it's like the DF 2.1. So the Lab Golf DF 2.1, I think I never putted with that one, but that's the one that everyone says is the best one, as far as like the most forgiving and the easiest to roll. The thing looks ridiculous. It looks like people will absolutely make fun of me on the course when they see the DF3, but the DF 2.1 is even worse. It's humongous. Looks like a spaceship, which almost all lab putters do, but it's the technology, man. It's the technology. But so yeah, the DF3, I'm excited. I'm super excited to try it out. and see how that goes. But it'll be in probably like a month or so, and it'll be interesting to see. So if anybody else out there has a putter addiction, if you're figuring out a way to overcome it, let me know. Comment below, help me out. I could use the help. But all right, guys, I think we're about 20 minutes into this thing, so I'll close this out. Super excited for this journey of podcasting and talking about golf. I mean, this is something that I'm just super passionate about, that I could talk about for hours. I mean, literally, I'm talking to a camera by myself here about golf because I love it so much. So would appreciate any support that you guys could give me, following the podcast or subscribing to my YouTube channel, Drew Fortson Golf. All the podcasts will be stored there under the podcast section on my YouTube channel. So if you're seeing clips on TikTok, be sure to, watch my episodes on wherever you listen to podcasts, or go check out my YouTube channel. So hoping to, grow this podcast and then maybe be able to interview people. That would be super cool, even interview people wherever in the TikTok space, YouTube space, anybody really. I mean, if you want to come on, my show, just, hey, reach out to me, man. You might be on the Subpar Podcast. So, just really, want to connect with people and, hopefully interview some cool people that have similar passions, about the best game ever, which is golf. So, that's what I'm trying to do here, and that's what I'm all about. So, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next time.